Products positioned around wealth mindset, manifestation, or abundance rituals tend to sit in a broad problem space that mixes psychology, habit design, and personal finance aspiration. In practice, this category attracts people who feel stuck in repetitive financial patterns, people who want structure without complex planning, and people who prefer interventions that feel lightweight rather than technical. Across that landscape, the most effort-heavy options are usually the ones that require sustained planning and feedback loops. Traditional personal finance systems involve tracking, budgeting, negotiation of bills, debt sequencing, and regular review. Career-based approaches involve skill building, portfolio development, applications, interviews, and long timelines. Business approaches add product development, marketing, uncertainty, and operational overhead. Even purely psychological approaches, coaching, therapy, structured journaling, tend to require consistency, emotional tolerance, and active participation. Friction in this space is often less about the lack of options and more about the cost of execution. Many systems are comprehensive, but demand attention, decision-making, and repeated adjustment. They ask for time blocks, accountability, and willingness to sit with slow progress. For some people, that level of ongoing effort is acceptable. For others, the friction becomes the main reason nothing is sustained long enough to evaluate. That is where low-interaction products appear. Instead of asking for planning, measurement, or skill acquisition, they offer a routine-compatible behavior: listen, read, repeat. Their main appeal is not depth or customization, but the reduction of friction. This is the context where short audio tools, guided audios, and daily rituals are typically positioned, especially when the product is designed to be used in minutes rather than hours. Dubai Wealth Secret is presented as a standalone digital audio product. The core deliverable, as described in the marketing framing, is an audio track intended to be played daily, with an emphasis on a short time requirement. The concept is framed around the idea of a secret sound, connected to a narrative about wealth accumulation in Dubai, with references to a 5-minute morning ritual. In the positioning language, the audio is described as the central mechanism, while the surrounding story functions as the explanation of why the audio exists and why it is different from other audios in the same general category. In practical terms, the format is simple: a downloadable or digitally delivered audio file that is accessed immediately after purchase. There is no indication of a multi-module course structure, no workbook dependency required for basic use, and no complex onboarding described beyond playing the audio. The scope is narrow by design. It is not presented as a budgeting framework, an investing curriculum, or a career training system. It is also not positioned as a long meditation practice with extended sessions. Instead, it is framed as a single tool that can be repeated daily with minimal variation. The product's structure suggests consistency and routine rather than progression through levels. The conceptual framing uses language about frequency, sound patterns, and alignment, but the delivery remains an audio file rather than a technical program. Regardless of the claims made in promotional text, the product's actual form factor is straightforward: a short audio session meant to be repeated. The usage model is based on brief daily repetition. The product is commonly described as requiring approximately 5 minutes per day, typically in the morning, though the time of day is presented as a preference rather than a strict requirement. Interaction level is low. Use does not require writing, tracking metrics, completing assignments, or engaging with a community. The main action is to press play and listen. This places it on the minimal effort end of the spectrum compared with programs that require planning, habit stacking across multiple behaviors, or learning new skills. Repeatability is central. The product is structured around doing the same action repeatedly rather than learning new material over time. This can be important for people who prefer stable routines. It can also be limiting for people who lose interest when there is no progression or variation. Environmental needs are simple but specific. Since it is an audio product, it benefits from a setting where listening is possible without interruption. The promotional framing often mentions headphones or earbuds. implying that the intended experience is more controlled than playing background audio through speakers. In practical terms, the requirements are a device capable of playback and a few uninterrupted minutes. Because the process is passive, the product's day-to-day complexity is not operational complexity, but compliance complexity, whether the routine is actually repeated. In this category, the primary challenge is usually not understanding what to do, but continuing to do the same small task consistently. This product format logically fits people who prioritize low friction and minimal decision-making. It is built for the do one small thing daily preference set. It also fits people who want a product that is self-contained and does not require external tools, scheduling, or additional purchases to begin using it. It also fits people who reject complexity as a starting point. Some people will not realistically maintain budgeting spreadsheets, multi-step routines, or long learning tracks. A short, repeatable audio tool is designed specifically for that type of effort tolerance. At the same time, there are clear cases where this format is likely to be rejected. It is a poor fit for anyone who wants a system that is measurable, customizable, and directly tied to actionable financial behaviors. People who want to see a clear connection between effort and outcome usually prefer tools that involve planning, tracking, and concrete decision-making. A short audio ritual does not provide those mechanics, even if it is framed as influential. It is also likely to be rejected by people who prefer evidence-based structures, especially in areas related to income, investing, or career improvement, where progress is usually linked to skills, strategy, market conditions, and sustained execution. In those cases, a passive audio product may feel disconnected from the type of work they consider necessary. Finally, this product is not designed for people who enjoy depth. A 5-minute repeatable tool trades expansion for simplicity. Anyone who wants layered education, step-by-step training, or detailed frameworks will likely find the format too thin, regardless of the narrative surrounding it. In positioning terms, Dubai Wealth Secret sits at the extreme low-effort end of the personal development and wealth mindset product spectrum. It does not compete with structured finance education, business training, or career skill building on depth. It competes on ease, consistency, and low barriers to use. Compared to demanding options, budgeting systems, investing education, sales skill training, or side business building, this product does not require time blocks, active learning, or decision-heavy execution. It avoids the friction of planning and replaces it with repetition of a single behavior. That trade-off is the core of its positioning: reduced complexity in exchange for reduced customization. A short audio tool does not adapt to different financial situations, different risk levels, different career stages, or different constraints. It is uniform by design. The user experience is consistent across people because the product does not change. In this category, that uniformity can be seen in two ways. For some, it is the main advantage: nothing to configure, nothing to learn, nothing to troubleshoot. For others, it is the limitation: no way to tailor the tool to specific needs, no structured progression, and no built-in mechanism for problem diagnosis. There is also a broader contrast in what is being purchased. In skill-based or plan-based systems, the purchase is information, structure, or coaching that can be applied differently depending on context. In a short audio ritual product, the purchase is the tool itself as the intervention. The routine is the product. So the product's real differentiator is not novelty of format. Audio rituals are common, but how aggressively it minimizes the workload. It is designed to feel accessible, repeatable, and uncomplicated, with the surrounding story serving as a frame for why such a minimal tool is presented as sufficient. The practical reality is that it remains a single, low-interaction audio product with a short daily usage pattern. It is not a curriculum, not a planning framework, and not a personalized system. It is a repeatable ritual in audio form, positioned for people who want the smallest possible daily action requirement. And that is where the evaluation naturally ends, as a description of what it is, how it is used, and how it compares in effort and complexity to more demanding approaches, without needing a final verdict and without forcing closure.